Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along. Well, we flew through Cincinnati.
Come on, everybody, and welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat, of course, coming to you today high atop the hilltops here from Orange County at the mansion from the P-Tie course here at French Lick. How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a great day. Verdell Jones will be joining us along soon. We're going to have a lot of guests on today in addition to Verdell. Like Lasley will join us this course. Dana Hunsinger Benbow from the Indy Star had a great story on Slick Leonard. We're looking forward to talking to her. Brendan Sweeney from French Lick. And I'll see if I can get my old mentor on, Fred Cal as well. Off the bat, Terrence Clark, University of Kentucky player, NBA, suspected to be first-round draft pick, tragically killed in an automobile accident yesterday. So thoughts and prayers out to his family, of course, his teammates and all of that. It's a horrible tragedy to see when that happens to a young person like that. Just so much to going forward, the draft coming up and all of that. It's just a horrible tragedy to see that happen. But thoughts and prayers out to those family members and friends of that program from the University of Kentucky as Terrence Clark tragically at 19 passes away in an automobile accident. Plenty to get to today. There's Verdell Jones joining us. Verdell was just talking about the tragic passing of Terrence Clark in an automobile accident yesterday. A very young guy. He's 19 years old, man. At the draft coming up in front of him, and just nothing but life to look forward to.
Yeah, man, that was tragic news. Just shows you that you don't know what's going to happen. Each moment of the day, that you got to enjoy it while you got it. You never know what's going to happen, man. For someone with so much promise, so young, for their life just to be taken away, that quick, man. It's truly tragic. My heart goes out to him and his family and the UK family.
Yep, and unfortunately, that's the kinds of things that happen to us in life, and we've got to learn to deal with them and move on. And those are the adversities that we face. One of the many that we face. It won't be the last time that people face adversity. So you got to face those unfortunate situations and move on. Everyone joining us here on the hotline, we appreciate you. Comments already. Tony says, real shame. Yep. Viper asked, do you know if you're about your fireman status yet, Verdell?
Yeah, I did actually. So I didn't get hired in the first wave. Unfortunately, man. Yeah.
We're curious.
The first wave, they only had 5 openings, and I didn't make that first round. The list is active for 2 years. They do have a lot of guys who will be retiring in the next year or two. So, we'll see what happens, man. But unfortunately, I didn't make the first cut.
And actually, for people who don't know, that is usually how it happens.
Yeah.
Especially when the next hiring will probably come out of this class, I would imagine.
Yeah. So they're saying maybe get in the fall or something like that in the winter time. So, it's unfortunate. I had high hopes for now, but timing is everything. It's something I'm learning.
Yep. Well, it's all right. It gives us something to talk about, and we'll just keep going on. It's right. It's their loss. That's right. Exactly. But now as we heading into the weekend, you can relax, let that off. You've always got something that you're in your mind that's going towards, man. So I can only imagine what's coming up next. What thought or plan?
I'm sorry, you're breaking it out, Jim. I couldn't hear you.
I said, I'm sure you already had another. You're always looking to do something community-wise. You're always doing that stuff. You continue to do it with the kids now. What's your next venture? I know we've got the mayor run coming up, and whenever we can get you eligible. How long does that take? 2 years?
I'll start campaigning probably in 2-3 more years. Yep. So the actual election will happen for another 4, but I got some time now. I really we focus on my time and efforts on the young people now with my program. We had a few of our guys go to the Chris Paul combine for middle school kids last weekend. One of the kids made an all-star team, and Another one finished top 40. So, we got a lot of promise there, man. I'm just going to continue to try to dedicate my time and resources towards it, helping them reach their goals. And then, obviously, as everyone knows, I got my baby puppy coming here soon. So that'll be a full-time job as well.
We've got the NFL draft coming up. Jamar Johnson, Wap Fillier. We talked to Matt Taylor yesterday. Expect to hear their names coming up in the draft. That'll be cool to see how that goes on. We've got college football coming up. Soccer, men's soccer, playing in the NCAA tournament. Grace Berger. How about Grace Berger? Top 13 in the USA going for that team, which is kind of odd, Verdell. They bring back 13 to get 12. I'm like, you talk about putting the pressure on there. That's putting pressure on somebody there. You got.
You there? I'm sorry. You keep breaking in and out, Jim.
Yeah, it's just a rough thing, but it's cool to see. I've said along for about a year or so. Grace Berger is. I think she's going to end up being the best player in the history of the Indiana women's basketball program. Player, she is just a complete player. She led the nation in triple doubles last year with 3. I don't think Indiana had ever had a triple double before her first. So just an unbelievable complete player. It's Grace representing, as Tony says. Dwayne, you guys are hitting us up as well. What do you have planned coming up for this weekend, Verdell?
Not much, actually. This is going to be one of the weekends where I get to kind of relax for a quick second before our AAU team start back up. My son will be here with me this weekend, so we'll hang out a little bit. Hopefully enjoy some better weather. I thought that the cold was behind us, but obviously – old Mother Nature had a curveball for us, that snow recently. But so that's really enjoying, man.
That was the latest measurable snowfall, at least the last measurable was everything. It's considered a trace, I think, if it's under an inch. And they had 0.9 in 1923.
Wow.
But never this. But that was not this late and this much. It was the latest, biggest snowfall in the history of, in recorded history.
It was crazy, man. It was crazy, man. And like I said, at least here in Champaign, the day before, it's almost 70 degrees and sunny. And people are outside running with the shirts off and just enjoying the good weather. And then the next day, you see flurries and you're kind of scratching your head a little bit. So, this whole climate thing is kind of weird how it's going.
Yep. Looking forward to Indiana as they continue putting out offers on the basketball side of things. Verdell is set now. Right now, they've got – I wish they had one more big guy. They're a little guard heavy, but they picked up some good guards. So it's kind of hard to turn that down, but you got the wing in Miller Kopp, who's kind of a tweener. He'll take up some of that loss there. But if he's the guy that can hit the shots like they think he is, that will relieve a lot of other pressure inside as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pieces that we got right now. I really do. I think, as far as the big guys, Logan Duncan's going to have to come in and be put to the test early. We're definitely a little bit undersized when it comes to that, but our guard play is going to be I'm excited about that. I think we're going to be able to spread the floor. I think we're going to be able to attack from different angles. And that's what the game has come down to, it's going to help Trace get so much more easy buckets. It's exciting to see the things that are happening right now. I really, really hope Hoosier Nation as a whole that we just support this, even if you are, you were against it at first about the hire. I mean, you can't do nothing but just smile and jump on board. I mean, he's gone into the transfer portal, gotten some big pieces. He's making offers to some big time players. Bates coming is big. It is a lot of exciting pieces that are coming to and making this thing a whole picture now. And so I can't wait to see what the season holds. I can't wait to see the continued progress in the off season. I see people are upset about the whole yoga videos that came out, but I mean, that's what athletes do nowadays. the game has evolved quite a bit differently from back in the day. But, yoga and things like that to help clear your mind and clear your body, man, is something that a lot of pro guys do now. And so why not bring it to the college ranks, especially when you have so much pressure during the season. Sometimes it's good to have those little sessions just to clear your mind and refocus. I know when I was at IU, we did yoga too sometimes, and it really helped, especially my senior year. It just helps you clear your mind a little bit.
Well, it's great for the body, but I think
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with the yoga. What that is about is people were sick and tired of seeing those pictures for the last 4 years of seeing that's all they kept seeing is this and this. We're like going, I don't care about that. I want to see you put the ball in the basket.
No, definitely understand.
But not those things, but they wanted to see some of that. But just that's what everybody does. It's called marketing, man. It's marketing.
It is.
Yeah.
I think the best marketing tool is what happened when Coach Woodson went to New York, back home, and saw the love that he got from his former players. I mean, that speaks volumes. You got NBA players. I mean, Julius Randle, who we talk about development. He has to be. He had to come. Probably the farthest out of any current player right now. He has to be one of the most improved. From being a guy who was kind of teetering as far as his NBA future to being an all-star, and a lot of those things he tipped his hat off to Coach Woodson. So for guys like Trace and Rob and people like that, man, this is an exciting time to get in that offseason with a guy who's proven to develop players and see where their game can go. So that's exciting for me.
Chris commented, said, how about ballet to improve footwork and balance? Let's not go that far. But, hey, you know what? Ty Murray was the most successful pro rodeo cowboy in the history of professional rodeo. And he did all 3 events, which that was very uncommon. Bareback riding, saddle bronc riding, and bull riding at the pro level. And that was very, very uncommon for guys to do that at all 3 levels. He also took ballet lessons when he was younger. He did. And there are many things that you can do in sports to benefit yourself. And sometimes it seems silly, but I promise you, there are many people that have done those types of things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to get into tutu and go back and do ballerina, but it does help a lot of people, It does help a lot. It does help a lot of people, man. I tell young kids all the time, play multiple sports, play track, do soccer. Those little things that you learn in those other sports just help, I think soccer has shown to help a lot of these European players in their footwork. Joel Embiid, as big as he is, he plays soccer. Look at his footwork, So, there's definitely things that you can bring and adopt from other sports that can help you with basketball and in your future.
We got to take a break. When we come back, Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com is going to join us, get you caught up on where they are in recruiting right now as the offers continue to go out for Indiana basketball. We're coming to you live today from the mansion high atop the hill here at Pete Dye Course from French Lick Resort, and we'll be back with more right after this. Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking for a new
Hello.
I wonder where you're at, Jim. New location.
This could be you.
Hey, Jim, even though you're coming through choppy, I think because it's not like we're losing words from you. It's just really long pauses and then it's finishing up. I can get into the edit afterward.
I was going to ask that.
I can push it together so it sounds a bit better.
And I'm going to try to talk less, especially when Alec and Verdell are on. I'll just let them go as much.
Okay, that'll help too.
Hello,
Jim's going to be talking less. What kind of world are we living in? Are you feeling okay?
Not a good one. It's not a good one. Where are you?
I'm back in the Midwest. So I'm back in my parents' house right now.
Is that Michigan?
Yeah.
Where is that in Michigan?
Right around Ann Arbor.
It's starting early on you.
Hey!
All right, we haven't even started and it's already starting.
Is that the real one? Hey, is that the real one?
No, I forgot to upload the real ones.
Oh man, we have the real one.
I'm saying, yeah, I know you do. I was there last weekend when she started sending you those pictures. I was like, all right, this could be the end.
Oh man,
Hilarious.
what about fantasy league? Dude, it's called on location, brother. Sometimes things can't be helped.
Where are you at?
P-Dye course at French Lick.
Oh, are you playing later?
Yes, indeed.
I didn't come down for this water.
Come back in 30.
I promise you that.
Welcome to your extraordinary destination, French Lick, West Baden, Indiana.
I get Verdell
You'll
down
find
there,
great
man.
places to visit,
It's not that
to
far.
stay, to
Probably
dine,
3
and
hours.
to play. We offer
3
an
hours.
up-close animal encounter with
Yeah, let me know
elephants
when you're
and
going
giraffes,
next time.
lodging that is out of this
We'll
world,
do that for sure.
world-class golfing, and a premier resort experience that is waiting for you on your next visit to French Lick, West Baden.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back. Normally to the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios, but today high atop the hill from the mansion at the P-Dye course from French Lick in French Lick, Indiana. Joined now by Alec Lasley and Verdell Jones with us as always. Alec, how are you, sir?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Good. Just sitting here chatting with Verdell, looking over your baby pictures a minute ago. Just having those up. We'll get those up again later. But how are things going in Alec Lasley's world?
Good. Can't complain too much. It's obviously been a pretty busy 2.5, 3 weeks for Indiana basketball. So that's obviously been taking up a lot of time with everything going on there.
Yeah, and the roster is full now, but the recruiting continues. We've seen the offers continue and going out for next season. Names that we saw before, names like Alex Caravan and things like that have kind of coming back around. But the needs, what the needs will be, what they are currently, kind of change. We were just talking about it, like to have seen him get another big man, but they got about getting a guy who shoots at the level that he shoots the ball at. So they'll have to manage that somehow, but it's definitely going to be a different offense and a different look for Indiana next year.
Yeah, especially I think you look at not only the couple recent offers, but Tamar Bates, Miller Kopp, and they're a lot more wing oriented. They're a lot more kind of, if they are forwards, they're hybrid forwards. They're not the traditional forwards that I think a lot of the offers went out to with the prior staff. And that's just a testament to exactly what Mike Woodson and that staff want to do. And that's get smaller, get more athletic, get quicker, and build more of a specialist roster, which is what you see in the NBA. A lot of guys who know exactly what their role is going to be from the start of the year to the end of the year. And I think that's exactly what Mike Woodson wants to do, and that's exactly what he's doing. So I think the way that he's going about it with a lot of these newer offers, not to say that any of the offers in the past were not the right move, but I think the way that he's building the roster right now is much more it just is built for the future, not so much just for the year ahead, which I think did fault the previous staff at times. So I think you're going to just continue to see the recruiting not only tick up, but you're just going to see players being able to be plugged into different positions in different spots and not really skip a beat from year on and year out.
Yeah, someone mentioned the talk of anybody else leaving, that Fennessy or Hunter. At this late, I'm not sure that we would see someone else leave. always a possibility with the instantaneous being able to play Verdell. You could always make that move. It's getting kind of late to find the spot because there's so many guys are already. So I don't know that we see anyone else to get that big guy as to change to get him.
Yeah, I don't think, right now, I don't see Jerome and those guys, leaving. It seems like a lot of those guys that, thought they're going to leave have bought into Coach Woodson and what he's doing. So I'll be surprised if anyone leaves as well. Obviously, getting another big guy would be huge for the depth of the roster. But I mean, as Alex knows, it's just you got Trace down there. It's gonna take up a lot of those minutes, and Logan's gonna have to come in and get some good minutes, and we got Race who came back. So you still have kind of your core group of big guys, but I think you have a lot more guard pieces around. It's gonna make it easier for those bigs.
Alec.
Yeah, I don't want to say that no one else will leave because I think you're still going to see a second wave enter the transfer portal, not just from IU, but just in general, because now a lot of those top transfers are off the board, and there's still a lot of teams that have a lot of needs. And I think you're just going to see the transfer portal continue to stay the way that it is through most of the summer. Honestly, I think you're going to see a second and a third wave of the transfer portal and a lot of guys enter just because a lot of teams would rather recruit out of the transfer portal moving forward than, take a shot at a late 2021 bloomer or anyone in the 2022 class, at least for now, just because you do have that immediate ability to play with the transfer. So I wouldn't put it past anyone really, especially an additional player for IU to enter the portal, just because that's just the way college basketball is moving right now. I don't think it's going to be in the next week or two. I think it would be more as we enter the summer when you're going to see that kind of second big wave hit up.
Yeah, Tim mentioned Duke had another player hit the portal yesterday. But those are also players that are probably more highly rated coming out of high school. They're probably going to be a little more sought after. You've got to find a place to land if you're going to go in there. That's the thing. And with 1,000 guys that are already in that place, there's not a lot of room at the end, folks.
Yeah, but again, I think you look at especially, I just saw obviously a couple names being thrown out there of a Jerome Hunter or Rob Finney. If you just take Rob Finney, for instance, there's not a lot of programs that wouldn't immediately take a 3-year starting point guard in the Big Ten to bring to their program, no matter what he's done in the past, just because that's a lot of experience that, a lot of teams don't currently have. And that's exactly what they're looking for in the transfer portal is experience, and a guy who maybe didn't have the best career at his previous stop. And they're looking to not only rejuvenate it, but obviously as a player who would be looking to go somewhere else. That's exactly what you're looking for, just a fresh start. And I think that's why it doesn't really matter if you enter the portal with a team in mind, because there's always going to be a team that needs that specific role. And especially if you do have multiple years of experience in a Big Ten conference for a Big Ten team, I think that's something that you can't really find elsewhere around the country. So I wouldn't put it past, people to just enter the portal because they want to see what's out there. Obviously we've seen that so far. And there's still always going to be needs from teams, no matter what level. So I don't think specifically you can kind of say, just because, maybe they haven't had the success at their current program. That's why you see a lot of kids transfer regardless. So I wouldn't put it past anyone to enter the portal that way.
Verdell, you're nodding a lot.
No, he made those were. That's why they pay Alec the big bucks. Those are very valid points right there. I just think that this whole portal situation is all foreign to me, but that's a great point. Guys who are trying to make those big pickups, why not pick up a 3-year starter at a Big Ten program? That'll help a lot of teams who need that position. A PG point guard spot is a very valuable spot, and if you can grab a guy out of the portal who has that kind of experience, he's right. Teams will definitely pick up on that for sure.
Once they have entered the portal and stated they are returning, can they re-enter the portal again? Yeah, I think we just saw somebody. Did we just see somebody the other day transfers to a school and transfer again without even playing there?
Yeah, I mean, you can. That's one thing I think the NCAA needs to work on moving forward is have a designated kind of start and end to the transfer season. But yeah, I mean, you saw with Isaiah Brockington for Penn State just yesterday or the day before. He had entered the portal in March, decided to announce that he was going to return to Penn State, and then re-entered the portal 2 days ago. So yeah, it doesn't. You can transfer, you can enter the portal whenever whenever you want to, and that's what I think. That's why I think you're just going to continue to see kids do that because there's always going to be an appetite for a Power 5 player across the board. No matter kind of what your past was, there's always going to be an appetite for that, and there's always going to be a space available, no matter what. Especially if you're able to play immediately, and a guy who's played 3 seasons, who this would technically be his 4th season, you don't know if he's going to come back for a 5th year with the NCAA COVID redshirt year that they gave everyone. So realistically, it could just be for 1 season, and you're not hurting your 2022 scholarship limit either way. So that's why I think it's for some of these players, it's a no-brainer to at least enter the portal, see what's out there, and then go from there.
Verdell is so different than not that long ago, 5 years ago, just 5 years ago now. The team structure was still a team structure. It was still freshmen and sophomores and juniors at least. Now, man, it's less of a mix of – it may have that same mix, but those guys that are filling those roles are not necessarily guys that have been there since they were a freshman. So, that camaraderie, that bond that grows over 3 or 4 years, it's going to be a little more difficult to attain for a team. And I think that's important to have.
I definitely think so too. I agree. I mean, it's not the old way no more. It's not the old college way where you guys came in and went through the whole process of being a freshman and a sophomore and then turning to juniors and seniors. It's just not this. It's not that way anymore, unfortunately. But that's why it's very important that you have a coach who can preach culture and preach that unity. So when you do have different pieces coming in from here and there, when they come in, you can mesh them together. And I think Coach Woodson, for us especially, is someone that can do that. I mean, he's been in the NBA where he deals with players getting traded. Guys getting drafted, guys getting signed here and there. So he's used to different pieces coming together and still having to kind of create that cohesiveness. So it's definitely changed. It's changed college basketball forever, I believe. But it's good that you have a head coach like we do that can kind of grow with the times.
Yeah, and Alan, the kids not knowing who Mike Woodson is, that's not a problem, as you talked about, traveling around the NBA and all of those connections. That has become so much more important, actually. That is more important than being known as a college coach because kids don't really care about college anymore. They care about the league. And so that probably, now that we start to look at it and think about it, is starting to carry more weight, actually, than maybe we gave it credence in the beginning.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. You look at the time that Scott Dolson hired Mike Woodson, and who knows if he actually thought about this when he made the hire. But there's pretty much no better time to bring in a college coach with no college experience, especially someone who came from the NBA, because this is just like Verdell said. This is exactly what free agency in the NBA is like. You really don't know what your roster is going to look like from year in and year out, which is obviously much different than college basketball. So I think bringing in someone who knows how to kind of navigate those free agent kind of roster moves and go into the next season without really knowing what they're going to have is exactly what Indiana needed, especially in a very important offseason because you knew players were going to enter the portal. You knew the roster was going to look quite different than what it looks now going into the offseason. So I think that was a very smart move if he did it to bring in, if that went into his decision making. Who knows if it did, but just funny how that plays out as well.
Well, the college game is becoming more like the NBA as far as the roster and this free agency type of thing, because you're not going to have the same teams every year. Like I just mentioned, they're not the same guys, and you can add those pieces. And so it always is turning around and changing like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that just shows you kind of what an important piece Mike Woodson is moving forward. But also just how great he's already done in a month. And that just shows you kind of what he can do for the future.
How much more recruiting? Go ahead, Verdell. How much more recruiting can they do right now, Verdell? I mean, the roster's set. They're looking into the future, and I know they want to get those relationships set. But when you don't know what you're going to need next year, it's kind of hard to recruit. Now, you know Trey Jackson Davis. There's no reason to think he's going to be back. But other than that, you don't really know what you're going to have, what you're not going to have. That makes life difficult as a college coach, although the portal will offset that a lot.
Yeah, I think it's you don't know what you're going to have, but you can always still build relationships. One player that you might go after, there might be two other guys on that AU program who you do want to go after. I see it all the time, especially here in Illinois. With IO and with Adam Miller and guys like that, they would go and recruit guys a couple of years ahead of them and try to create relationships with those players or with those coaches or with those families to kind of build out that relationship down the line. So even if you go after a wing or a guard who, might not come here now, hey, he might have a 6'9" guy on his team who's a junior or a sophomore that we want down the line. So let's continue to build those relationships, reach out, Coach Woodson is new to the college game, so for him to go out and meet these AAU programs, talk to these high school coaches, and just create that relationship, that alone right there is going to be huge for recruiting moving forward. And I think you're starting to see a little bit of that now.
Oh, Chris up in Whitmore Lake, Michigan, he doesn't like the portal. But yeah, it is what it is. So it doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's here to stay, unfortunately. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just one of those things that's here to stay, and it's going to change the game, but things change and you have to make those changes with it. As we move forward now, I think Indiana is going to be in a position I do to be able to win. I said this yesterday, Verdell. A lot of people, the fans, are getting excited. I'm like, they're going to definitely be able to compete in the upper level of the Big Ten, but don't put them up there with Michigan yet. Let's let things play out, and why put these heavy expectations right off the bat? But it's fun to put those expectations. We do it half the time, so why not? They can do it as well. What, Alec? Anything new expected to come up? What's the next domino to fall?
Yeah, I think it's going to be calm waters for at least a little bit.
What's a little bit? So what are you saying? So can I take like 3 or 4 days and like not have my phone glued to my hand?
Well, if I say you can, obviously things are going to pop up left and right. So that's just how it works. But I think most of it's maybe outside of, an additional 2022 offer. I think everything's pretty settled as of now. I don't think there's going to be any sort of major roster movement over the next, week or two. I think once you get into kind of middle of May, that's where I think you're going to see the next uptick of the transfer portal go. So potentially something around there, but I still think for the next few weeks, it's relatively calm when it comes to Indiana basketball.
I hope so, man. I need a little R&R. I'm tired. I've been appreciate you, man.
It looks like you have it there. Your R&R there.
I'm still working. I'm still working, though. I'm working. No, I appreciate you guys. Of course, appreciate you very much. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter at Lasley, and of course at the Hoosier.com for complete coverage of Indiana. Have a great weekend, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
We're going, Alec.
We'll be back with more with Verdell Jones from the golf club, or not from the golf club at Eagle Point Studios, high atop the hill from the mansion at Pete Dye, of course, from French Slick. Yeah, get all that in there. It's crazy. Back right after this.
Welcome to your extra.
Yeah, dude. Hey, actually, the guy that's coming on now, he'll invite you down. Bring your wife down.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta come down.
What's up, G? Not much, man. You can walk up there and disorder. I got a tab open. What do you want me? I'm all COVID shot up, man. Me too. I got my vaccine. Man, you can't. You know what? I'm gonna take that out. You can't hear. Oh, wait, you know what? There's headphones right there. You may be able to use. That was cool. You hear me? Well, you're not saying. Hey, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Or is more importantly, can you hear anything?
Yes, sir.
I can't hear you though.
Okay. You all can, I know, but he can't. His headphones
okay.
are all jacked.
Well, Frank's not in there.
Who's Frank? Oh, that's a different setup. I'm gonna get that exact setup right there. Verdell, you know Verdell Jones?
Yeah, I met you before.
How you doing? I can't really see you right now.
This is Brendan Sweeney.
I was on a show before. Do you move?
He's frozen.
Oh, like that's kind of weird.
Let me undo that. Hey, talk again. See if we can hear out the computer. Somebody talk.
Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me?
There you go. So we can hear you on the computer. There you go. I'll just have to hide the mic when you talk. Perfect. Yeah, Verdell just started playing golf, man. So I said we got to get him down here. Verdell has the second most famous assist in IU basketball history.
What's that?
For the watch shot.
The one when
Chris Watford. He's not an IU guy, Verdell. He lives in Florida 3/4 of the year.
No worries.
Well, Verdell, you play in Europe? Verdell, you play
I
in Europe?
played in Greece. I played in Greece and I played in France.
Yeah, I remember.
His wife's a doctor. He's going to be a fireman and a mayor.
Mayor of.
Champaign Urbana.
I was just in Champaign.
Nice.
Back in 30. Back in 30.
Back in 30.
I was in
Got you
Champaign.
covered.
I had
Bloomington's
breakfast
#1
yesterday
Honda
at the
dealer for a reason. For deals like this, how about a new 2020 Honda Civic LX front-wheel drive
Urbana
lease
Diner.
for just $180 a month, or a new 2021 Honda Accord LX front-wheel drive lease for just $270 a month. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Today coming to you high atop the hill from the mansion at the Pete Dye course at French Lick, joined by Brendan Sweeney from French Lick, as well as Verdell's here with us. Brendan, how are you, sir?
Living the dream, high atop. This is called Mount Airy. It's the second highest point in Indiana.
I thought it was the first. Where is the first?
There's a coal mine in Richmond.
Richmond. That's
Yeah.
on the east side of the state, man.
Exactly. I don't know.
Crazy.
I can't tell you. That's what they told me in a brochure, and I'm sticking to it. So,
There's Verdell Jones with us as well.
what's up?
How you doing? How you doing? I wish I was
Baby.
where you guys are right now.
Having fun. We got to get him down here play some golf soon.
Hey, you were invited.
Hey,
It's not
I'm
my
gonna-
problem you didn't show up.
I'm gonna hold you to it, man. One of these days soon. I gotta get
There
my
you go. I
swing
was
back
in your
together, though.
I was in your fair city of Champaign Urbana yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Oh, awesome! What you doing down here?
Part of my job is I call on golf courses, so I went to go to Champaign Country Club, Urbana Country Club,
Oh yeah,
Lincolnshire was there.
Yep.
And popped down to Charleston and Mattoon, and then shot over here. So we got the
Nice,
Midwest
yeah.
covered. It's
I love it, man.
a pretty
I
flat
go-
drive in sense on 150 heading this way, and it gets really pretty quick.
Yeah, it's
Definitely
all
hilly where we are right now.
all cornfields and soybeans over this way.
Yeah. Flonaise's best friend.
Exactly.
Well, over here at the beautiful Pete Dye course, just always an amazing place. And I thought the weather was not going to be great. It doesn't even matter. It's still, I walked out, so I'm like, it's perfect. It's like being in Scotland.
Yeah, so that's
At
why I
times.
tell everybody every day goes, hey, we're heading out to Bandon or we're heading to go to Ireland. I'm like, we have the same weather here at half the price. So if anybody bitches about the weather today, it's too bad. So tomorrow's gonna be a little bit different story. It's gonna be a little bit rainy. We got to figure that one out. But if not,
it's such a beautiful place. I mean, it's not just golf. You've got, of course, the French Lick Hotel, the casino, the West Baden that used to be before the Houston Astrodome, the world's largest freestanding.
You want me
dome.
to give the picture?
Yeah.
So from 1901 to 1969, it was the world's largest freestanding dome until they bought in 1963 when they built the Astrodome. So you think about a full acre of
it's crazy
of tile, Italian tile, that goes up, 98 feet. So it's neat. And, during the last year, obviously we had to make some changes to the, as of right now, we're starting to loosen up a little bit. You have to be a guest to enter the hotels. But the casino, you can get in the casino, no problem. Obviously golf, we're here or there. So come on down to French Lick and, tee it up and eat some food, drink some booze, play some bets.
3 courses here too. Not just you've got 3 different, I don't say 3 different levels because the Ross is pretty high up there with the die course, but you got the Valley course as well.
Oh, it's so prior to the renovation it started in 2005. The Valley course, which is the lower 1907 Tom Benbow golf course, that we knocked out the front 9 to put the casino, the event center, the parking lot. So we knocked 9 holes off of that. So it's still a 3,600-yard 9-hole golf course, which is great. But on top of that, we have a dual range. We have a club fitting, Anthony Bradley. We do all of our lessons out there. So if you guys want to tune up on some lessons, we have some packages around that. And then up the hill, used to be called the Hill Course, is a Donald Ross golf course, which was a total gut rehab in 2007, originally built in 1917. Home Walter Hagen won it, 59 and 60 LPGA championships. So we had 3 majors at that golf course by itself. Cook Group came in, started the renovation on that property, and then started building the Pete Dye course here, obviously Pete Dye. And this is truly, it was named the best course, new golf course in 2009. And since that, we've maintained number 1 and number 2 positions in the state of Indiana for golf courses. So it's an sticker too. It's 8102 from the tips. And I remember Pete saying specifically, he goes, we get wins, and we are catching wind from Kansas today. So,
or Champaign, Urbana, maybe, but
Champaign.
You sold me. It's like a beautiful course. I gotta come visit. I don't know if I'll be able to play as good as Jim, but I gotta come see it.
Yes, you will. Trust me on that. Trust me, you will.
I never have. No, not yet.
Well, it's good. We got a great little group down here. We have a bunch of media guys from Louisville, from obviously Indiana, Illinois, Chicago. I got some travel guys in from Pinehurst, from Ireland. We have a great tee sheet today. Our golf is just going gangbusters over the last year. I mean, people want to get out and play.
Sure.
Golf equipment sales, Jesus, going through the roof. We're selling more Callaway product here than I think we're the lowest for Callaway products. We also carry Tour Edge and other stuff like that. But the supply and demand is definitely there. So we're enjoying it. Ride it as long as she kicks you off, right?
Well, golf is one of the few things that people have been able to do for the last year and a half because of COVID.
Right.
Continue to do minus the weather months, but get outside.
And we are both vaccinated, by the way.
That's right.
So
and my mask is sitting right there. But yes, vaccinated away, baby. But yeah, it's still one of the things that few things that people have been able to get out and do with their friends, continue to do. But now it's getting even a little easier.
Look back 6 months ago. You couldn't buy a bike. You couldn't buy a golf club. You couldn't buy any weight equipment. We have a lot of toilet paper here now, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. That's it, baby. So, come on and get some fresh air. Life is grand.
And it's easy to get to. The funny thing is it's centrally located from so many different places, whether it's Evansville, Louisville, Indianapolis.
Oh, Frank here from Golf Talk America. He's in Nashville, Tennessee, 3 hours away. St. Louis, 3 hours away.
I-69 has changed a lot, too, for those guys coming up from the south.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I timed it yesterday. From the intersection of 150 and 69, it's only 40 minutes. So,
and it's only about 45, 50 minutes from Louisville, right?
I'm an hour and 10 minutes from Churchill Downs. And that's another thing. Hey, next week,
Wow.
the Derby. If you guys want to get a little stay and play, get away. We're not going to pound you on prices like they do in Louisville with a 3-night minimum stay at the Motel 6 for $800 a night. So Derby's here, and with the sports book and with the casino and with the golf, you can plan a full day around it, and dress in your finest Derby wear, and take off from there.
One of the funnest things that
Really?
I was down here.
They have
This
to make a change at IU.
of
Maybe a new
coaching,
coach.
maybe a new coach,
Maybe a
new
coach
staff.
that was there that had the traditions.
That's a
Right.
great idea,
Mike
man. Mike Woodson? That would be a great idea.
Woodson.
Yeah,
Stand fifth?
I was here the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Right.
That's if you're able to get away, it's a blast because you get to watch all the games. They're all up on the screens. If you get to bat them or whatever you want to do, and that was fun. I got to do that the second weekend. I got to go to, and that's a big weekend out there. The same thing with here now that the sports book is here. It's a lot of fun. People were having a lot of fun, and the casino has it opened up a little bit more now?
Yeah. Our capacity is 3,000, and during COVID it was like 300. It was crazy and then the capacity goes up even more and more. We're not having trouble getting people in. Obviously, there's still restrictions there. You can't smoke. You can't have drinks at the table. You can't have food out there.
You can't smoke regardless.
Yeah. So we want to stay guidelines of what the state of Indiana is doing, and we're part of the Indiana Gaming Commission. I tell you that. And
what's that number you always say one time? If you have trouble gambling money, 800 what?
1-800-ADMIT-IT.
Hey, that's it. All right, brother. I appreciate you. Tell Fred to come in here if you want, and we'll get out there.
Fred Coghill coming up from WLKY. How you doing, everybody? Fred Coghill. We'll be right with you. Hey, Freddie, come on here, buddy.
But Brendan, thank you very much, buddy. Brendan had a media relations here at French Lake Resorts, but it's just a great time. But it seriously is. Come down, Verdell. I'm surprised you haven't been here before. They used to have events here before. Now they have their own golf course there, with the foul course. So they'll be doing things there, which that's a great course. I've only played it once, but I'm not I sound like I'm a big golfer. I'm not, and I'm not good. I can promise you that. I'm a hacker like everybody else. Trust me, I can tear it up as good as anybody out there. That I promise you. But Fred coming in with his mimosa. I'm just kidding. Or no, this WLKY CBS in Louisville. Actually, my mentor, one of the reasons I'm able to do anything I'm able to do. Thank you, Fred, for being here.
My pleasure.
Actually, one of the only second time I've actually had the opportunity to interview you. The other was just recorded, so this is a lot more fun. But great to see you.
Great to see you. I'm so proud of everything you've done.
Thank you so much. Wouldn't be here without you, man. Days I remember back, I was in summer school at an internship and anchoring overnights, and it was fun.
Hard.
It was a lot of hours.
Yes, I
But
understand.
the Howard Snellenberger days, so that was the great things is when he to have been there during that time to do that. I was like, man, I was there that day when he uttered the University of Louisville's on a collision course with a national championship. That great quote, and just moments in time are just fun. Verdell Jones is with us, by the way. I didn't introduce you. I'm sorry. Verdell Jones, Fred Coghill.
How you doing, sir?
How's it
I
going?
gotta make sure you're on there. There you go.
Good.
Scoot over there. But I told her I always tease Verdell. He's got the second most famous assist in Indiana basketball history, behind, of course, Keith Smart has the biggest shop. Everybody thinks of, but Keith Smart was in a restaurant in Bloomington a while back, and they have a wall for him to sign, and he put in quotes the shot.
I was in New Orleans.
Oh,
Yeah.
for that.
That
Wow.
was my first year in Louisville at the CBS there. And the old days, now it's changed a lot security wise, but we were down on the floor and we'd come out into this little tunnel and we were watching. And it was really hard to see because we were right on court level and there were so many people around our lap. But I see over in the corner, he takes the shot and goes in. I'm like, I just saw some history there. I mean, it was so cool. And those two, all of this was much simpler, much more one-dimensional. I mean, you get to see stuff up close, and now it's become much more pulled back. security agents, just, I think of the PGA Tour and all the agents and handlers and lifestyle coaches and all this other stuff. It's just, the old days, you walk up to a guy and said hello and asked to interview him. So I kind of miss those days. When I hear Keith Smart's name, it resonates with me I hate to say a simpler time, but I think for us, a more fun time.
Definitely was. And for us at covering Indiana, it is kind of getting back a little bit more to that now with the hiring of Mike Woodson. The media relations staff has made the point of that. Dane Fife has made a point of that. And I think that's very important because they haven't had that in 4 years. But there's more to it than that, too. You've been around, like you just said, since New Orleans, those days.
Now, I've seen a lot of guys come and go, and not just at that program, but all the ones that we covered. But to the Indiana point, to have 5 national championships and to have the texture, to have the history, to have, the loyalty of the fans. And I think somewhere along the way, some of that has been lost, but was distanced away for a whole bunch of reasons. And without being malicious or pointing fingers, I thought that was a huge mistake because not a lot of programs have that. I think people forget, Louisville and Kentucky and Indiana and a few other, Syracuse falls off really fast, have these massive followings that most college programs in Division I. There are maybe 10 that have these kinds of followings. And Hoosier Nation, is one of the biggest, one of the most loyal. And the thing is, the disconnect now is you've got people who remember that last national championship. And again, I was there, and then some Final Fours after that, 92, maybe in Minneapolis was one of them.
2002 was the last one.
Yeah. So the disconnect now is the kids that they're recruiting weren't even born then. And so how do they connect with that situation? And that's really hard. I think one of the ways you connect them to this is having what they're doing now, which is the legacy, which is reminding people. As I've gotten older, I'm all about, reminding people of what was, because people only see the present day. It's easy to forget. And, it's easy to be I'm there to 35 years in Louisville and 46 years in broadcasting. I try to always remind people of what has been, because to some degree, you only know where you're going if you know where you came from. And Indiana has that. And there aren't many programs in the United States or the world that have that kind of legacy. So I think you have to teach them. I think when you're out recruiting, you need to tell them. Dane Fife is part of that legacy. And I think that's a huge hire that way, as is Mike Woodson, because also I always felt that there was kind of not a distancing from the old guard, but I think some of them felt unimportant, that they were just forgotten along the way. And when you think about some of the legacy of this program, that's a huge, thing to forget. And you shouldn't. So, but it's going to take some traction. It's going to take some time. This is not going to happen overnight. Keeping Trace Jackson Davis, I think, was a huge step in the right direction. And I think it was really smart for him to stay, given he wants to be in the NBA. And Mike Woodson certainly is a guy that, has had that kind of, experience and equity and all of that, and can really help get him there.
And I grew up in Southern Indiana, and I was accustomed to this 3-headed monster always being a 3-headed monster with Indiana. That kind of was lost a little bit. It's been lost for too long. College basketball is better when Indiana's better, when any of those type of schools are better. You want the best. You want Indiana and Kentucky to play. Verdell, you were in those games. Talk about those games are needed for programs like Indiana and Kentucky.
It's fun. It's fun, those rivalry games like that, it just creates an atmosphere of just fun. There's a lot of anticipation. My grandfather actually lives in Louisville, so I'm very well rehearsed in the Louisville, Kentucky rivalries. And those are just fun games to be a part of. You miss those kind of rivalries. You miss those kind of games. And especially in a region where basketball means so much, those games just brings it out even more. And so I miss the rivalry games between Kentucky IU. I don't know if it ever happen again, but I hope it does soon.
I think it will. That's a great question. I think that it will, especially there's been the change at Indiana now, and don't know. Eventually, there's going to be change in Kentucky. He's been there for a long time. A lot of rules change coming. I don't know how that'll go, but there's no way that series cannot come back. It's too important.
I go back to the Big Four Classic. I remember when Kentucky and Indiana would meet every other year, where the crowds were split 50% blue, 50% red at the old Freedom Hall. It was taking nothing away from Indianapolis, but Freedom Hall is, I think, still to this day one of the great venues in all of sports in terms of site. And there's not a bad seat in the house. So people would ask me then, what's your favorite game? And I tell them that every other year. It's when Kentucky and Indiana meet in Louisville and it goes back to Mike Davis. It goes back to Bob Knight because, I mean, literally you'd hear a basket or you'd see a basket and half the crowd would go nuts and half the crowd would be silent. And it was all concentrated in one side. I mean,
awesome.
You can't have a good rivalry unless you have a good other team, right? So, and we got away from that. And I think that's terribly unfortunate. And there are a whole bunch of reasons why the added conference games, schedule complications and all that, they need to make money. But I still believe that for the fans, that those kinds of things are really important. The reason that Louisville and Kentucky have a game every year is because of the fans. And Indiana and Kentucky need to start playing again. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. We got to hurry up and get to a break, but Derby is coming up, man. And you're one of the renowned experts, actually, because you've been here so long. You fell in love with the sport. You're one of the people I always turn to for that coverage, but one of the fun times of the year, man.
Very much so. It is Saturday, May 1st, unlike last year where we had a September Derby for the first time and hopefully last time ever. It's going to be a full field of 20 expected. Essential Quality is the favorite, deservingly so. He's unbeaten in 5 career starts, 4 of them graded stakes. He's trained by a guy named Brad Cox, who's from Louisville. He's actually got 3 horses in the Derby this year. He said it overnight.
The last time a Louisville trainer's never won.
Never won one, right. Brad grew up in the shadows of the Spires, went to Iroquois High School, and he's one of the rock stars of the sport. Just overnight, 3 years ago, nobody heard of him. 2018, he starts winning stakes races. 2021, he's now all over the place. So there are others as well. I mean, Todd Pletcher, who's won the Derby twice, has 4 starters in this race. Wow. So it's going to be a very contentious race. Essential Quality is a little bit ahead of everybody else, but then there's a whole bunch of horses right there that would have a big chance. So it looks like one of the more evenly matched races we've seen in a long time.
Then we got the 8,500th end of the month. Dave Furch, who is there now, the head of communications there. We interned together at the same time for Fred. Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Back in the day, 135,000 people going to be there. I'm like, that'll be the biggest crowd of any kind, maybe in the world, since the pandemic hit.
Wow.
That's wow. I didn't think of that. So much. Fred Calgill from WLKY and CBS is joining us. We'll be back with more. I think Dana Benbow's going to join us next here on Indiana Sports Beat. Back with more right after this. Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking for a new
Verdell, nice seeing you, man.
You as well. Nice meeting you, sir.
There's Dana. She did a great story on Slick Leonard. You got to read this story. It's Brian Baraz. I know him from Indiana, but his brother is quadriplegic and went to visit him. He was on his.
Dana, is your mic on?
5 years ago, I think. And they asked Slick to come visit him.
We can't, or I can't hear you.
It's an incredible story. It really is. It's
Verdell, can you hear her? No.
Okay.
Are you just speaking through your laptop, Dana, or whatever you're using on? Well, I guess you can't. I can't. You can't respond because I can't hear you. Let's see. Just Try rejoining. Try going out and rejoining and see if we can see if that helps anything. Well, she just did. She muted and then unmuted herself, and it didn't change anything. She's going to rejoin.
You have sometimes not mute. You go into the mic settings. Make sure you're using
Okay. I got you. I know that makes sense. So when she rejoins, if we can't hear her, I'll tell her to do that.
Oh, Verdell, yeah, man. Get going down. Seriously, whatever you want, let me know.
For sure. I'm going to try to come down the next month or so.
I'll get you connected with your wife down here.
I got to finish up this little AU season. Got one more month left. Once that's done, I'm coming down for sure. I'm coming down.
Coming to Louisville?
I'll be in Louisville. We'll be there June 5th and the 6th. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Or excuse me, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
If you can hear me, go into your mic settings. It's at the very bottom of your screen. Click audio. Make sure your mic is where it says mic. Do you see what I'm talking about in your settings? Click on mic and what is it set to right now? It's probably different than mine. Well, I can't hear you. That's why I can't tell what you're saying. so it's hard to figure out what. Jim, we're supposed to be coming back in 20 seconds. What should we do here?
Have her do it by phone.
Okay. Dana, does she have my number? Oh, I guess I have her number. I'm going to send you a text, Dana.
No, I meant the link by phone, John.
Okay, yeah, do the link through your phone. There we go. I'll send it to your phone. We're coming back. Here we go. Just a second or so.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back. Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Today coming to you from high atop the hill here at the mansion from the P-Dye course at French Lick. Normally we're at their golf club at Eagle Point Studios. Don't forget about them. Verdell Jones with me here, waiting for Dana. Benbow Huntinger's going to join us. Man, she had an incredible story. But once she gets joined, we're going to talk to her about another Slick Leonard story. It's crazy, but that man keeps touching people beyond his passing. Verdell, how much familiarity did you have with Slick Leonard?
I didn't know much about him, especially when I was a young guy. I always heard his name a lot more when I came to IU, but it wasn't kind of until recently that I really saw the impact that he had and how genuine of a nice person he was. He was definitely an Indiana, not as an IU legend, but a state of Indiana legend. And, he touched so many people. So I got to hear a whole lot more after his passing about who he was and all the great things he did. So he was a very remarkable person.
It's incredible. And if you need to read this story that Dana wrote, because it tops them all. Dana, how are you? How have you been?
Good. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. You look great.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Another great story. All of yours are great, but this one I was like, damn, because I love Slick Leonard. And man, that's the greatest story. And I know Brian Braz. I don't know AJ, but I know Brian. I reached out to him and said hi. But a great story. You told it so well. For those of you who haven't read it in the Indian Star, if you need to. Absolutely need to. But please, I don't even want to take up any more time. You tell this incredible story.
Okay. And tell me if I'm cutting out, because I just want to make sure you can hear me. Okay.
Yeah,
so basically, there was a guy who is still with us and doing well now.
Well, you are cutting out a little bit out. So
okay. Dang it. What is wrong?
But AJ is the brother of Brian, who works for Indiana University I forget what department he works in. There at IU.
And so basically, maybe I should move like somewhere else where in my
You're good.
Okay.
You're good right now.
So AJ's a huge fan of Slick Leonard, and he met him the very first time when he was working on a golf course. He had a business in Texas. And he had a golf course business where he aerated greens and did all this stuff, and the Pacers came to play. So Slick was in a hotel, and AJ walked in, and they just had some drinks and kind of hung out. And at that point, AJ hadn't been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but just months later, he was out on the golf course, and his foot started dragging. He was only 28 years old. And it quickly progressed to where he was in a wheelchair, and he's now a paraplegic or quadriplegic. So he has no use of his arms or legs. And so it was just like a time in 2015 when things were going really bad, and he was not eating. He hadn't had Gatorade, or he had only had Gatorade for like 2 weeks. And he was on his deathbed. Everyone was saying his last rites. The priest came in, his family was praying. And a friend of a friend knew how much he loved Slick, so they called up Slick. Slick had met this guy once or twice and said, could you come out to his house just to see him? And so Slick came out to this house. There were 30 people in the room. He kicked them all out. He said, get out. I want to talk to him by myself. And he sat in there and he talked to him. No one knows what was said because the story had never been told until after he died. Slick died. AJ said he was on so much morphine. He just remembers him standing above him, but he doesn't remember what he said. And as soon as Slick left the room, like literally AJ was sitting up, asked for an egg McMuffin, and ate, and is like still alive today. And
Wow.
there's a photograph that someone took like from the doorway, his brother, I believe, and they said there's like some weird way the light's shining. It almost looks like an angel or something's like above talking. It is like the coolest story.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Slick was something. I went to his private
Slick
funeral.
Leonard continues from the grave.
Yeah. And I was at his private
Yeah,
funeral.
I spoke to Kristen Ari was on yesterday with us.
Oh yeah. So he was there too. Yeah.
Yeah, but just what a great guy. I mean, one more time, he was just Mr. Pacer, Mr. Indiana, just one of those once in a lifetime people. Once in a lifetime to come along, and wish I had gotten to know him. That's one of my regrets in life.
Yeah, you hear me? I've been letters like people saying, making me want to live better right now. Just because so many hadn't been told about until after he died. You know how that happens. And so now they're like, I want to be more like him. And just, like his son said when he died, his brother called to tell him that his dad had died, and he thought it must be a joke because Slick joked so much, but like eyes closed, and then he'd go, "Gotcha," and like act like so he thought he was joking, and so he was.
Oh, that's a special story
guy.
right there.
Well, man, you always just bring out the best stuff ever, Dana, and I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for taking time out to join us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I'll have my connection better the next time.
Sounds good.
Perfect. We appreciate you as always. Dana Benbow joining us from Indy Star. We appreciate you. Go out and have a great day and a great weekend.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, got more coming up here from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, transferred to the Hilltop Mansion here at the Pete Dye course. It's, I was worried it was going to be bad out there today, but it is what it is. So we'll stumble through it, but just to not, I wish that I could leave this thing behind somewhere for like a day. Could like throw it in the ocean. But oh well. But yeah, it's just been a fun week. I'm ready for things to slow down a little bit. And I didn't think that I would imagine saying that like 6 months ago. I'm like, all right, I need a break. But but yeah, I want to get back to crowds, and we're talking about 135,000 at the Indy 500 coming up. The Derby's coming up this weekend. So I don't remember what they're doing there as far as crowds, but have you ever been to the Indy 500?
I haven't actually. I went 2 years ago. My cousin, her husband, Cameron Jones, he works for Enterprise. He's his own dealership over in Avon. Shout out to Cam. He got tickets to drive a Corvette around the track on the Indy 500, and so he invited me, my wife, and my cousin and him. We all went down there and did that a couple of years ago. So that was a blast. But I haven't had a chance to actually go to the actual race. It's on a bucket list though. Usually around Memorial Day weekend, we always have my family reunion here in town, so I don't get a chance to do it.
Yeah, there's always something, those big time event things. So yeah, then we got the Indy at the end of the month. So May's a big month, man, for sports. Talladega, Indy, the Derby. Then we go into June, and AAU will be flying high, but they should be at full bore by then. I know there's a big event up in Fort Wayne next weekend. Was it the Running Slam? There's an event this weekend in Westfield. Jaden Smith is playing up there, I know. And then you're off. You say you're coming to Louisville on the 5th and 6th of June. What are your events finished? Are you done at the end of June?
We'll be done in June. Yeah, that's kind of, because we're in middle school still, so we don't really have all the high school, open periods and all this and that. So we'll be next weekend. We have a tournament in Chicago, and then the following weekend we'll be over in Indianapolis at the Adidas May Classic. Always a great tournament. We'll bring our guys over to that. I love personally bringing our teams to Indiana because at that age level, it's some of the best basketball you'll be able to get. We've been to St. Louis, I've been to Chicago, we've been to Ohio, but that Indiana basketball, that brand of basketball, man, it's great for our guys to experience because you have not only athleticism, but you have guys who have high IQ. And when you want to prepare, especially kids from Champaign who aren't in a hotbed like that, you want them to go and play against guys who have that all kind of around talent. And you don't find it much better than Indiana. So I love going to Indiana tournaments. And so, we're excited to come over there and compete here soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to get out and watching some hoops too, man. We got to take a quick break, come back for a little bit more from the mansion here at the Pete Dye Course from French Lick. Brought to you by Andy Moore Honda. Back with more right after this. Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking for a new or a used vehicle. Hey, in Verdell, there's something I want to talk to you too about. Charlie, me and Charlie have been talking about, and I've talked to Jordan about putting together a camp.
Okay.
With just IU. Well, I'm like, oh, you're close. You would be great. AJ's close. Yeah. It would be easy for him. But I didn't know if that's something you'd be interested in, like try to do it later in the summer, like July, because I don't think Jordan's going to get back until June. But I think it would be cool as heck, man.
No, that'd be so much fun, man. Let me know. Any way I can help and help publish it or whatever, just let me know. That'd be a blast.
Well, yeah, I want to get you be a counselor.
Yeah, I'd love to do that, man. That'd be a great time. I can't wait to come back to B-Town. It's been a long time too. My wife, she's been wanting to come, so we're gonna definitely try to come.
Williams was here the other day, apparently.
Who?
Troy Williams.
Oh, nice.
I didn't get to see him. A friend of mine who knows him, he works at Yogi's. He's a bartender at Yogi's.
Okay.
Name's Boogie. He knows him. He's there.
That's good.
He goes in. I'm like,
it's good to see. It's good to see alumni from different coaches come back now. That's a good feeling. Just to have different classes come back and still be a part of it. I mean, that's exciting.
Yep. I want to have you get some of your old guys on now that we're out of season, just to have fun, talk conversations.
For sure. Absolutely. That'd be a blast, man. Some of these guys I've been talking to for years.
Jordan and Christian.
Huh?
No, I'm just trying to think. Besides Jordan and Christian, I think they may, and you, Matt Roth may have been on. Oh, Derek Elston's been on.
Diesel, yep. You got has Will been on yet?
He's been on once.
Nice.
Hard to remember more.
Yeah, KB.
We are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Welcome back. The mansion high atop the hill here at the Pete Dye Course, Golf and Resort. Brought to you by Andy Moore Honda, of course. Verdell Jones with me as always. Chris puts up a great question. What is the deal with parents fighting at AAU events? Great question, because it's been going. There was something happened at an Indiana event but it was not an Indiana team. They got into a fight with a ref. Just crazy. I mean, it's nuts. Then there was a shooting in Ohio. It's crazy, people. I mean, you cannot let these parents. I'm like, damn, you just can't. It's not. If your kid's that good, somebody will let him know. You're not the person to do that. Just like these coaches. Who was it that I saw? I forget. It was a coach recently that said, well, if he goes to something to watch his kids play, he goes, I don't say a damn word. He said, it's not my job to coach him team. Yep. Is that who it was? Yes.
Yep.
I don't say a word. He goes, I am not there to coach. And of all the people that need to listen to that, it's the people who are no but seem to think that they are. That's nothing new. This has been going on forever. Hell, we just saw the kid last fall body slam the official. I mean, this goes back, and this is nothing new. It's just still sad as it always has been. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. The culture of AAU right now is in a dark place. You know, everyone thinks their kids can go to the NBA or going to be this person or that person. Let me tell you a stat. 99.5% of high school kids right now will never make a penny, not let alone millions of dollars, a penny from playing basketball. You know what I mean? But every weekend we have all these tournaments here and there, and all these parents who think that their kid is LeBron James, and they're not. You know what I mean? And it's frustrating, you know, as a former player, as someone who went through the whole process, to see so many, not just kids, but parents lost and going down the wrong path and thinking that this is the only way out. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started my program, you know. Now, I know everyone wants to be a basketball player, so that could be used as a tool to attract kids. But we got to teach these young people more than just basketball. Because like I said, it's not going to work out. I mean, the young girl who's fighting the ref, that video is always going to haunt you now. You know, UConn, Tennessee, it doesn't matter how good you are, they're not going to offer you a scholarship because you were fighting a referee at an AAU tournament. So the culture that we have created, and the culture that we have kind of established in the modern hoop era is not good. It's not good at all. It needs a major overhaul, really. And some of these parents, some of these kids in their reality check that, hey, you know, this might not be for everyone. I tell my 8th graders right now, I say, hey, guys, if you think you're that good and you can't make a consistent left-hand layup as an 8th grader, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but unless you put in a lot of extra work, it might just not happen for you. And we need more of those real talks with these kids and help them understand the reality of what this whole industry is about, you know, and really start focusing on other things besides sports for some of them. You know, there's some kids that just won't, they just, you know, love them to death, but it doesn't matter how much work they put in, they're not going to be that high caliber player that their parents want them to be.
Yeah, it's just reality is the key word that you hit there, I think. Too many people don't reside in an address that has reality at the end of it. But you can't do anything about those people. But just continue to move forward with sports. But now we want to get back to sports. Just getting back. And don't ruin this with all that stuff, because we're just not getting back to being able to do it. So don't ruin it for your kids,
exactly.
Especially. Let them do this. Let them get out there. Don't screw all this up. Hell, we're lucky that events are going on, and you're lucky if you're a parent that you can get in and to watch it. So just be fortunate where we are, and everything just kind of needs a reset, man. And
yes.
I was wondering if COVID would be that reset, but it kind of hasn't, because it held us back, I think, a little too long, and people got just too anxious, and that spring popped, man.
Exactly, man. We've been hibernating for the last year. So now that things open up again, everyone's going a little bit crazy. But, you know, we've got to calm down a little bit and just, you know, like you said, is reset your mind and just and really go forward with life again. You know, it seems like when everyone was cooped up, we just kind of had that little bit of agitation, just enough to kind of make us go crazy. So hopefully everyone settles down and gets back to normal.
Are you much of a pro NBA fan?
Man, I used to be when I was playing. Right now, it's kind of harder to watch. I'm more of an NBA playoffs guy now. That's the time I really lock in and love watching the games.
Yeah, that's a lot of us. It gets fun there. They seem to play a little harder. Anthony Davis back last night for the first time for the Lakers. So this is the kind of time of year, but we still got plenty of time before the playoffs hit. But the Pacers they've been struggling. Chris Denari's on with me each Thursday. They're up and down. But they've lost a lot of guys. They're going to be fighting to get that playoff spot. It'd be nice to see them hit that, but we'll see if they can manage to get there or not. But yeah, I'm just never been a big NBA fan, but I try to watch it. It just seems I'm just too busy. Even it's the same with baseball. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, I want to, but then I just don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Have you ever been a big baseball fan? Who's your team? Who's your NBA team?
I used to be a Bulls fan until they got rid of Derrick Rose, and that kind of soured me on the whole Bulls situation. So I'm a fan of players now. But for baseball, I'm a Cubbies. I'm a go Cubs go guy, man. So it's we're gonna have to take you up to Wrigleyville one of these times to do a show there. Dude, you talking about a fun time? Let's go up there and do that.
Dude, I'm in. All in.
That'll be a good time right there, man. I'm with that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I went to Harry Carey's. It was. Yeah, I want to think that maybe I should sit in the bleachers the next time I go. I sat on the first base side last time, and I'm like, man, but it's just that's such an old ballpark. You can leave the exit, and when you leave this stadium, you are literally on the sidewalk. It walks out onto the sidewalk. It's like boom.
Yep. And then you have Wrigleyville all the way down, all the bars.
It's just a
clubs,
great old ballpark surrounded by bars.
Yeah,
very similar to Boston. I've been to Fenway, and it's very Yawkey Way. It's the same way up there, man. It's very, very cool. But yeah, it's I love going there. I saw Michael Jordan take batting practice at the old Comiskey, so I got that.
Oh wow, wow, that was an experience.
That was I think it was the last year before they tore it down, and they had built the new Comiskey next door to it, but he was playing baseball. That's spring, and he was taking BP. He put a couple out, but he wasn't at. They had it was moved out from the plate a little bit, so
for sure it's Michael Jordan. You got to give him a little extra boost, man.
But I got to see Michael Jordan hit a couple out, so that's kind of cool. I can say that.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice, man.
Yeah, it was just fun. But I got to go to those ballparks, being able to see those different ones are fun. And then I look back at Riverfront Stadium. That thing was terrible. It was horrible where the Reds used to play. It was like so hot. It was artificial surface down by the river. The humidity was awful. Luckily, they have a new ballpark now. But yeah, those old ones, they weren't. I was a little bit, remember it. But
for sure.
But yeah, baseball is just it's not something I follow as much as I used to just because of time. But the Reds have sucked for so long, and I'm a Reds fan. The Reds are the new Cubs. But now they're not. They're battling in first place. I think they lost it in extra innings yesterday. But so it's fun to see them doing well again. But just fun to have. It's kind of old childhood memories. It's what seeing them do well again. That's fun. But got the Derby coming up next weekend. Do you ever watch the Derby?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge sports horse racing guy. I love horse racing. My grandpa, when I went to visit him probably about 10 years ago, he took me down to Churchdown Hills and just got to see the whole track and the whole experience, man. And it's something me and my wife we talk about all the time. That to me that'd be something I'd love to do when I retire. Just buy horses and train them. You know, that'd be a blast just to do that, man. So I'm a huge horse fan guy, man, and I love watching all the races every year.
Well, I got a couple of guys to hook you up with. Do just that. I got a couple of guys, they really enjoy it. I was in horses, but mine was in rodeo and roping, a totally different side. These horses are so damn expensive. It's crazy. But yeah, looking forward to it. I can't wait for it to happen to watch again. But man, it was a fun day, another fun day. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank Alec, Lasley enough as always, and Dana Hunsinger, Benbow from Indy Star, Fred Calgill from WOKY, and how could we forget Brendan Sweeney from French Lick as he jumps back in.
It's impossible to forget me.
It's been a blast coming to you guys. If you get an opportunity, make sure you come to French Lick, West Baden, Golf, Donald Ross. B. Sweeney at FrenchLick.com. Reach out to him. He'll get you set up with a package, but it is a great place to come. I'm telling you, it's a great place to come for the weekend, folks. We're going to get Verdell down here soon, but go out and have yourselves a great weekend. Verdell, you and your wife have a great weekend as well.
You as well, Jim. You enjoy this weekend. Hit some golf balls for me, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. And to you guys, man, you are the most important thing of the whole day. We appreciate you more than ever. Without you, there's none of us. So go out and do something nice for someone. Wear your mask. Until Monday, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Oh.